Welcome everybody to Talking Kaizer Chiefs. It's Peter the Toit with ex-Kaizer Chiefs coach Farouk Khan and ex-Kaizer Chiefs left back, the legendary Tsepo Masilela. Chiefs fans out there, we all know today, right now, you're all very unhappy. And I give you a promise from this team of Kaizer Chiefs people to you that we are going to go and be very direct and very honest and very straightforward about what's wrong at Kaizer Chiefs right now, how to fix it quickly for the derby, and what we're going to do for next season. Because Chiefs fans, you've been incredibly well behaved. For years down the line, there would have been bottles thrown and havoc caused in the stadium. Well done for accepting this. But 6 league games without a win, 3 points out of 18. That is not Kaizer Chiefs. And we cannot pretend otherwise. This is not Kaizer Chiefs. We cannot pretend otherwise. We have a moral duty, Farouk and Tsepo, to as ex-professionals and current coach, to look at the Kaizer Chiefs fans in the face and say, guys, this is the truth. And what I would like to look at in this discussion, today's game, and use today's game as a reflection of what we can do going forward. First of all, were there any positives from the game? Were there negatives from the game? How it can be improved? And then, seriously, is this team and Nabi capable of delivering? We hear they're talking to Fiston Mayela. If Fiston Mayela watched this game, there's no way he's going to come and play for Kaizer Chiefs, you know. And I want to ask the question at the end, does this Kaizer Chiefs team know, including Nabi and his coaching staff, what they're doing to the good name of Kaizer Chiefs? Because right now, amongst the fans, it's a laughing stock. And the badge and the history doesn't deserve that. And on the history, I just want to pay respects to Bull Lahoka, who I played against many times, Kaizer Chiefs centre-back who passed away last week, a great citizen of Kaizer Chiefs. He played with his heart. His name was Bull for a good reason. He battered the hell out of me, but fairly and hard. Though that Kaizer Chiefs team filled with talent, like a lot of the team, they set the foundation. Kaizer and Bankster Slody and Ace set the foundation, you know them, Farouk, for what is supposed to be a team that will always challenge for every honor in South Africa and Africa. That's not happened. It should end now. So, first question, let me ask you, Tsepo. First question. Were there any positives that you can look at in this game and say, okay, this is something to work on going forward from this game? What went right? And are there any excuses for this defeat?
Peter, you know, to start with, there's no excuses. If you look at with due respect to Marumo, I know they've been doing well, you know, in the past games, but in games like this, you're playing at home, you Kaizer Chiefs, and you take an early lead. You know, us as fans, we expect a 3-4 no score, you know, end of the game. Because normally if you're a big team, you're home and you take an early lead, that should boost your confidence, that, you know, you should play with more courage, you should be more brave and, you know, create chances, put the opponent on the back foot, you know. And when it comes to positive, not many, Peter, I didn't see any positive from this team. I would have loved to see a happy Mashian, you know, grabbing the chance, because we all know, you know, we've heard rumors that maybe might be moving to Stellies and what, you know, these are the sort of games where you want to, when you're given an opportunity, you want to maybe try change the mind of the coach, you know. And there's guys like Quinika who haven't played, you know, for the better part of the season. You know, games like this is where you win your next contract, or you try to convince the technical team that, you know, hey guys, listen, I'm here, you know, I deserve a chance going forward. But there was no positive to that. There was no positives.
So, 2 questions to you, Coach Farouk. First of all, this is, I mean, you've been on that bench. So, Farouk, as I said, new players coming in. It's not easy for them. What do you say to them as a coach? They're coming into a team that's struggling. They haven't played for a while.
Well, I think I empathize with the fact that the coach was forced into making those substitutions. But in saying that, if you are a part of the mighty Amakosi, as Chiefs have been known for ever, then you've got to step up. It means that, yes, you haven't had the game time, but this is an opportunity for you. Now it's an opportunity for you to make the coach to be able to sit up and say, listen, this player has got what it takes. Because we're getting towards the end of the season. Some guys are playing for their contracts to be renewed. So when you bring in a Masheane, when you bring in a player who hasn't played for a number of games or for a period of time, it's up to him to ensure that he puts his arm up or he puts his hand up. I think it's a combination of the fact that the players that are playing for Kaizer Chiefs don't realize the history of this team. It seems like there's a lot of egos when you look at it, and I'm saying this based on what I saw when they were in possession trying to build up. I think they don't have the quality in defense, yet you see they're constantly looking to play out of the back. And then you get exposed. On a number of times they were dispossessed. They should have been made to pay. Against a better team, they will be made to pay. So again, the standards that has been set by their predecessors, this is where I have a problem. You asked the question early on, what did they do well? I would ask the question, there's nothing that says to me there was much done. Besides the fact that Lolipo scored a brilliant goal. Yes, the defenders were caught wanting, but he still had some work to do. Besides the fact that at times Chiefs created the odd half a chance, but generally, Peter, they looked poor in the build-up phase. They lost possession. The turnover was bad. They were made to face their goal defensively, and against a strong opposition. As much as Marumo had played some good football, they're down there, still in the relegation zone. Had they lost today, they would have been pulled down into that one mile. So they had everything to play for. Chiefs, on the other hand, had everything to play for to make sure that they at least get into that CAF position. So overall, I think there's nothing that the Chiefs fans or the Chiefs team as a whole can be shouting about. It was a poor performance, and that's all I can say.
Chiefs fans, I know it was a poor performance. I know you're not feeling great, but do us one favor. Press that subscribe button, guys, please. We really appreciate it. It makes our sponsors happy, and we need our sponsors out to be happy to bring you the show. So please, Chiefs fans and all fans out there, press that subscribe button. Do you know, guys, and Kaizer Chiefs fans out there, this game, to me, epitomized Kaizer Chiefs season. Started very well, just like Nabi started very well, filled with promise with Lelepo's goal, and then the season and that game just has got steadily worse and worse and worse. And I must admit, in the last 6 games, besides the game against Sundowns in the Cup, which, by the way, it's like Magesia Tsepo mentioned, winning the Cup. These are one-offs. One-offs don't count. They're blips upwards or blips downwards. The bottom line is here, in the last 6 games, and I really like Nabi. I don't know him as a person, but when you hear him speak, he seems like a very nice guy. So this is not personal. But I don't see anything in the way Kaizer Chiefs play that you could put the blame solely on the players. Because, Farouk, you say they're playing out from the back, but that's from instruction from the coach. Because it happens every single game. If this was a one-off, so he's telling players who can't play out from the back to play out from the back. So he says he's got a way to play, whether you can play it or not, that's how we play it. And it's like a boxer going into the ring and he's going to attack somebody who's stronger than him. You're going to get knocked out. Simple as that. So number one, how can you see it, and myself see it, and all the fans see it, and not the coach see it? That's the first thing. Secondly, I don't even know if I can pick a team. Because every single week, this team changes, and it seems like he's not sure, or is he just giving players chances? 1 week, Ngabe's playing, then he's on the bench, then he disappears. Zwane plays 3-4 games, never hear from him again. We may be injured, the club don't announce that. Frosler was there. We know he's out of contract, but no one says he's injured. We don't hear any from him again. Sele's off at halftime. Then Castillo, fit, played on the bench, never seen again, comes on. And by the way, he brings something to the team. He can make late runs into the box. He's brilliant in the air. He's one of the few players in this midfield who gets into the box at the end of crosses. No one gets to the end of crosses. So my question is, what is it, Farouk? You're a coach, and I know it's hard for me to ask you this question, but we've got to ask it for the Chiefs fans out there. What is it that you see? If you were the technical director, again, I always ask you this question. I know you're going to be honest. What would you say to your chairman, Ms. Kaizer Matwang? What is it that you can see in Nabi that you keep him for next season? Yes, the players are not good enough. There's no discussion. But they're not this bad.
Yeah. Well, I think where Nabi has missed the bus completely is he's not ensured that he adopts a game model, a philosophy which speaks to the player's strengths. By that I'm saying is when you decide on how to play, you look at your player's strengths and then you decide on the tactical approach and the strategy. I think he's missed that, because if he hadn't missed it, which you rightly pointed out, why in heaven's name are they playing out of the back when Solomons is unable to do it, when Nika is unable to do it? We know that even the keeper is not very comfortable under pressure. And we know also that Cross is not the most comfortable. So now you have a situation where your back four don't have the qualities, and you're still insisting on playing out of the back. But yet, if you look at the weaknesses of Marumo struggled when Chiefs played balls in behind their defense, because Chiefs have the speed, Chiefs have the ability. Sometimes, Peter, you're going to play ugly to win games. I'm not encouraging ugly play, but you play according to your strength. You've had this setback with the number of injuries and suspensions. When I sit down as a technical director with you as a coach, Peter, I'm going to say, let's be realistic, Peter. Let's play to our strengths. We're not going to play the way we want to play simply because we don't have the quality to ensure that we play an elaborate game. Let's call it an elaborate game. For today, we want to ensure that we get into that top four. So we're going to play, and the fans will understand. They know for the fact that we've struggled with injuries, etc. So now we play percentage football. There's no harm in that. Playing over the top also requires skill. Playing with a man who's strong up front to hold it. Start with Morris. Play Morris up front. Play him as a point of reference. Use the Lolipos. Use the Duprees to be able to exploit the weakness. We know how weak Marumo Gallants was defensively. I would be totally frustrated, and I would say to the chairman, the coach missed the bus on this one. As much as I always protect the coach, I want to say, coach, you got to be realistic. If this is what you have on your plate, use it accordingly. Don't try to invent an elaborate gameplay, an elaborate build-up of Barcelona. You don't have the quality. Be realistic. And I think today that realism was missing.
Oh, 6 games of it. Chiefs fans out there, football fans out there, SoccerBeat fans out there, we're going to take a short break from our sponsors, a very quick break, and we're going to be back with what's going to have to be done for the derby. Because something's going to be done. How are they going to pull the performance out for the derby? Can I start with you, Tsepo, on that question? Quick break.
How would you like to win a little something extra just for joining the best in the game? For a limited time, we are teaming up with Betway and giving all of you access to a SoccerBeat exclusive. If you join Betway using the sign-up code SoccerBeat now, you'll get 25 Rand extra bet. That's right. It's time to get way more out of every bet. Standard T's and C's apply.
Welcome back, SoccerBeat lovers, talking Kaizer Chiefs. And this is the question for Tsepo Masilela. Not an easy one. Tsepo, Farouk made a very good point about winning ugly. And when you guys won the league, you guys were criticized as being not a free-flowing team. But you're probably the most effective team the league has seen for many, many a year. And you had top players. But you understood how to manage a game and you understood how to win a game. Do you see, so 2 questions in one. Do you see that in this Chiefs team under Nabi at all during the season? That's the first thing. But they beat Sundowns in the Cup by doing exactly that. So how can these players, and I'm going to ask you the same question, how can these players get it right in the big game that counts, but don't have that mental ability to do it against the so-called smaller teams? Because if you can do it once and you're only playing 1 game every week, you're a professional, you're well paid. We've all been in that environment. You're supposed to pull out the stops. They look like a park team, in my opinion, when they play football. They look like they're playing on the park with their mates. So some guys, I'm not running now, I'm not closing. And then you get Dube, by the way. I think he gave away 5 free kicks out of the 6 times he challenged for the ball. I mean, that's, again, amateur stuff. You're not even thinking. So, Tsepo, the 2 questions. 1, what do they do to get it right? And then secondly, why can't they do it against Sundowns? So therefore they can possibly do it again, and why they're not doing it all season? And Farouk, the same question will come to you.
Peter, to start with the Sundowns game, when you go in a game where you're underdogs, where you're not expected to dominate the game, you win on position. We're not looking for anything special. You can simply get away with the results because they can be a counter or a set piece. You win the game like that. So meaning the results will, kind of cover your performances. Like no one's going to look at the performance against Sundown. It's not like they had a great game against Sundown. So meaning going to the derby, they can pull off that performance, going with the results. If you pull that performance and you have the results to show, wow, Kaizer Chiefs, they won against Pirates. So I think it favors them in a way that we're not expecting Chiefs to dominate. They underdogs going to the game. And now they're having a problem when you're playing the smaller teams that we don't expect them to dominate you. Now we're expecting to see the real Kaizer Chiefs, where you score goals, where you play entertaining football, where possession is 60, 70% to 40, 30. That's where they're kind of struggling. And to be quite honest, I've got nothing against Coach Nabi, but if you look at their position and their performances in most of their games, especially against the small teams, in another big team, in the real world, in big teams, you're going, Peter. If you play six in the league, you don't win one, and you're a big team. The coach, regardless of the project, players came in this month or this window. Look at Coach Rolani. He's dead on the league. He took a team that finished sixth last season. He's dead, but he's coming back. That's what we're hearing end of the season. Ancelotti couldn't beat Arsenal. He's going home. So big teams, they operate in that way. So I think he's been lucky enough, he's, to be still in his job. Like, regardless of the finals, we've seen Mourinho getting fired before the finals with Tottenham. They're like, no, we're not happy. He's been lucky enough. The only way I see them winning against Pirates, because they coming in as underdogs. They can maybe tweak the system. You can play three center backs. The only thing that you're going to look at after the game is the results, not the performance. So they've done it against Sundowns where the results favor Chiefs. They through to the finals. So also going to the derby, they can play ugly football and get results, and that's the only way. I'm not sure if they can play pound for pound open game with Pirates, they would survive right now because their confidence is low. We don't see them, creating many chances in the game. Against Sundowns, they got those half chances, through the set piece and the mistake from Suarez. They capitalized. So also in the derby, they will have to capitalize in those maybe mistakes or set piece. So it's going to be tough for them. But we'll wait and see.
Farouk, I'll change the question slightly. And Tsepo actually gave me the thought to change the question slightly. Typical Jose Mourinho, even if he played, Chelsea were a good side. But even when he played a side that they were far better than, what he did, and my question to you is, why don't Chiefs do this under current circumstances against every team they play, knowing that Chiefs are not that good, but they're better than Marumo Gallants? Let Marumo Gallants play defensively. Give Marumo Gallants the ball in your own half. Let them play in your own half. Funnel back, get your shape. You've got quick players. Once you've got them into a false scenario where they think they're dominating the ball in your side, your half, when you win it, bang, then you hit it long to your two wide men or to your front men, and you're out exactly like Mourinho used to do. Bang, you're all out. Next minute, you're in the opposition's half, and you caught them. You got a lot of space behind them. If you don't have a good enough team, but you're better than the other teams, isn't that the better way to play? Because you won't be giving goals away, and you can catch even the so-called smaller teams just on the break by creating a false defensive setup, because at least you're protecting. I'm not sure if I explained that properly.
Well, I think you clearly explained it. I think I go back to when Inter Milan played Barcelona. I mean, it's a game we can remember for the rest of our lives.
Yes.
It was a case of Inter Milan turning over a very dominant. I mean, it was the best Barcelona team for a long time under Pep Guardiola. And again, he played that game. If you look at the statistics, Barcelona had all the possession. They had all the chances. But it was Mourinho's intuition, his brilliance, which won the day, and he celebrated that goal to an extent where Barcelona had to put on the sprinklers, to dampen the victory. But in saying that, exactly what you say, you design your tactics based on the opposition and your strengths. And if you have the quality to, like we see the stronger teams, then you impose. If you don't have the quality, you invite. And when you invite, you create space in behind, you create moments. Just to go back quickly to your initial question, let's be honest, Peter. They didn't play that well to beat Sundowns. I think Suarez was a huge factor where he set up the first goal. And then obviously, they capitalized on that particular moment and then, won the game. But prior to that, when they played Stellenbosch, there was also a decision that favored them. So there's an element of luck which has ensured that Chiefs end up in the final. You take your luck. You take those half chances. The offside of Dupree, you take it. Because again, the fans are saying, it's happened to Sundowns in the past, and we accept the fact. You can't go back and cry about it. Until VAR becomes official, there's no ways that we can debate around that. But now you find yourself in a situation where you have sufficient time to now go back to the drawing board and say, listen, guys, let's take stock of ourselves. Firstly, we're not great in build-up play. So what is the next best thing? Let's look to ensure that we play out of our half and ensure that we find an ability to utilize our speed factor. The speed factor is what we have. We have very quick players. Whether we play Solomons, whether we play Dupree, whether we play Lolipo, all of these players can complement our attack. And then ensure that you use that plan. If I play, I'll tell you personally, if I play against Orlando Pirates after what I've seen them play yesterday, yes, they lost, but they played very, very offensive. They created a lot of chances. They can hurt you. They can hurt you when you give them space and time. I'm going to try and take the space away from them, Peter. I'm going to play in a block. I'm going to vary between high press and medium press. I'm going to look to expose the spaces that they often leave behind. I'm going to look to exploit their center pairing because they have a bit of a challenge. We saw Nisi and them. We saw Toki yesterday. They can be at times very vulnerable. So that is how my plan is going to be. Looking at around that, and seeing how can I maximize my strengths to ensure that I overcome the opponent. And that is what Nabi has to sit with his technical team and discuss from this moment on. It's finished. Marumo is gone. You've got to look forward to the next game because that's going to mean the difference. If Chiefs don't win the next two games against Orlando Pirates, it would be the worst disaster. I mean, compared to last season when Kevin Johnson was there, this season doesn't look any better.
Yeah. Well, Coach Nabi, Coach Kaizer Matwang Senior has Farouk's number. I think you can give him a call and he'll chat to you about the tactics for the game against the Pirates. But Chiefs fans, I hope you enjoyed what was a very honest and transparent and clear message from Farouk and Tsepo. They love your team. It's their team as well. You deserve better. See you guys during the week. Cheers.
Cheers.
SoccerBeat, what?